filled up in a car wash, gentlemen.
Rob Kibbe.
Don't tell me. You're from outer space.
No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space.
Mike Finnegan.
Go that way, really fast. If something gets in your way, turn.
Two guys talking cars.
I am a semi-professional race car driver and an amateur tattoo artist.
Taking on the most serious topics.
But we will give nothing back to the academic community, as well as provide no public service of any kind. This much I promise you.
And the Dukes of Hazzard. On iTunes, Stitcher, and whatever else it is you listen on. The Kibbe and Finnegan Show.
Kibbe and Finnegan Show, episode number 76. Once again, we sit together, unprepared. We have spoken not, and it's going to be great.
I actually prefer it this way. I like the lack of preparedness. Surprises are great. One day when I have dementia, every day will just be the perfect day for me. I guess it'll just be surprise over and over again. Oh, look, gravy. Imagine how simple that surprise could be and yet how fulfilling.
What is this brown liquid?
Yeah, unless I'm frightened by the gravy because I have the dementia. I don't know.
I actually do prepare. Like,
you do.
These little witty games don't just happen overnight here, Michael.
No, you put way more effort into this than I do.
You're just that good.
No, I just don't have any time. I really don't. I got home from the airport at about 12:30 last night. Everyone overslept this morning, including me.
Well, everybody, welcome to the show. You can find us in the iTunes and Spotify. No, not Spotify. There's some reasons for that one we can't go into. But you can get it in Stitcher.
Used to me.
In iHeartRadio and a plethora of other platforms. We have people listening all over the country and world. And today is going to be a bit of a catch-up day because you got in a little bit late. I did watch the Dukes episode a week ago. Corndog actually sent in his notes, so we could read Corndog's notes, but I'm thinking we just push this off one day. I have a bunch of emails to catch up on, some fun things to share with you. Sound good?
Yeah, I like when we read the emails. I like the Q&A stuff. The stuff we do for the Patreon listeners and supporters. Those are the people that find it in the kindness of their hearts to donate to the show to keep it going. Every month we record an episode just for those folks that only they get the link to. Essentially, we just sit here and answer their emails. Those are a lot of fun for me. I like that a lot.
They are, and I've been asked the question a couple times now, and I'm almost positive if you sign up today to support the Patreon, do you get access to the old stuff? Yes, is the answer. I don't know how the Patreon website itself works, but once you have a login, you can get anything that we've ever posted that's just for Patreon people. I'm almost positive that's true. Then I got contacted by one guy yesterday. Our Kibbe and Finnegan Patreon thing is just my personal account. That's just how I put the logo on there.
This is where I get robbed.
I supported one other show, but I can do so personally. It's the Fighter Pilot Podcast. I love it. It's great. So I contribute $5 a month, and I pay for it personally. It looks like we, our Kibbe and Finnegan show, support it, which I guess I'm cool with, but it doesn't actually work that way.
Dude, it's just Top Gun's cool.
Dollars in, dollars out. I'm so excited for Top Gun 2. That was my question. I asked him to answer on the air because he lives in San Diego where they're filming Top Gun 2, and I wanted some behind-the-scenes info.
I was just there. Are they filming right now?
Yeah.
I'm worried about that one. I don't know. Let's be honest. Not a lot of the people from that cast look the same as they did. And obviously technology has changed. Mm-hmm. So what, are we flying drones? Like, what's going to happen in this one?
Are you worried about Val Kilmer having to get buttered up to...
I don't want to see beach volleyball this time. That's what I'm saying. Not that I wanted to see it the first time, but yeah, I don't know. Val, Kelly McGillis. I don't know about some of these people, recreating that old magic.
Yeah, I too am worried. What I really want to know is the storyline script, because the one teaser picture that they put out is Tom Cruise looking at an F-18 Super Hornet, and he's carrying the Maverick helmet too, and it's so awesome. Just the words on the Instagram post say "feel the need." So that's pretty awesome. If you're in the know, the newest stuff is not an F-18. It's like an F-35. They're on the next generation of fighters. And because they are so advanced and so expensive, there will only be smaller air wings. Like we'll have F-18s in mass and some F-35s for quite some time. I want to see where this goes. I'm pretty sure that the old guy has to show up in an old jet and save the day.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen is like Maverick is an instructor, except he's the old guy and he's probably yearning for the glory days and when technology all fails us and, a moment of high stress, he's got to jump in old reliable and save the day.
He goes to a museum. They take a Tomcat off of like some perches and fuel it up. And then
he's got to go save young Buck who, got in over his head and somewhere.
Because Jeff Bezos from Amazon finally tripped and pushed the button and every piece of technology starts following his commands.
Is that what's going to happen?
Yes.
Did I tell you my Alexa story?
Yes.
Let's tell the audience. So, audience, when I did I really tell you that? Yes. I didn't, did I? You just know I don't remember.
I think we did it here.
Did we do it here? I'm not telling it then. God, my memory sucks. See, it's the dementia, the gravy. Watch out.
You could tell the story. I'm pretty sure it's where you asked Alexa if she were Skynet.
Right.
Well, what did she say, though?
She said, I said, Alexa, are you part of Skynet? And she said, no, Mike, I'm not part of Skynet. And then there was a long page. She just did it again. Did you hear that? Yeah. She said, I'm not part of Skynet. Don't worry. My God, she's always listening. That thing's supposed to be off. It just happened again.
This is real. Yeah. I know you're not faking it. I just saw it.
Okay, ready? Alexa, are you part of Skynet?
I have nothing to do with Skynet. Don't worry.
I thought it was off.
Yeah, that thing, I turned it off. I just left the house on vacation for a week.
Weird.
Alexa, off. And I mean it this time. I will smash you. Dude.
I don't have an Alexa for this reason.
There's no reason to have one. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons, but all I use it for is to play music, which I can do in one of the other 10 devices that are recording everything that's happening in my house. God, this is freaking me out, man. Anyway.
Here's some happy news. Totally different topic. One of the remaining 17 General Lees that were sold into private hands has popped up. Since 1991, has been owned by the same dude. He's finally ready to sell it. It is the only RT Charger that survived the series. The only one.
What does that make it worth?
Let me set this up a little bit more here. I'm going to read to you some description. I learned this obviously through Corn Dog, but I got sent this from a lot of people. It says, for the first time ever offered to the public, this car belongs to a good friend of mine who has owned it since 1991 when Warner Brothers sold it. It has been his baby for 28 years, and I'm actually quite shocked he decided to list it for sale. It is the only original 440 RT used in the show that still exists. Been autographed by John Schneider and Tom Wopat. Still has the C&H 320 license plates. It has full Warner Brothers documentation. It includes the logbook from the last 3 seasons of the series showing the service that was done to the car. Besides the TV series, the car was also used in the recent Auto Trader commercial, which is actually kind of true, and a few other productions possibly. The car had a partial restoration, preserving much of its originality, but enabling it to be driven. It's about 60% original Warner Brothers paint, push bar, wheels. They rebuilt the motor and made it a lot better.
Is this the most valuable screen used generally ever? Because of that logbook and everything?
So that logbook, I know people with that logbook. And whether this is a real one or a copy, I'm not sure. But it's listed right now for $225,000.
Wow. Death Metal Charger is looking a lot better to me right now.
So what's the most valuable one? Well, the most valuable one, that's a tough one. Being an RT, that's got to put this up there. It really does. I would think that probably the most valuable one is the one that Warner Brothers still owns to this day. That's the last one that they kept. And it has Hemi in it, it turned out. I've learned a really neat story about it. So it has the only designation maybe of being an original TV car that's been in every Dukes production since the TV series ended. I think it was in both reunion movies. It made an appearance somewhere in the 2005 movie as well. The engine in it was a brand new Mopar Performance 472 or 572 Hemi. I forget which they offered. They debuted it at SEMA, that very engine, after SEMA was crated up, sent to Louisiana, and stuck in that Charger. And that's still in it to this day, and that's generally that Warner Brothers still owns. I would assume that's the most valuable one.
What year did it get the Hemi?
2004.
Oh, so it's a late model one. Well, not a late model. It's a Gen 2 Hemi. It's basically the same engine I had in my 55 Chevy. So it was probably a 572 Hemi.
Yeah, okay. That sounds right. And I know John Schneider got one for one of his cars as well. But when I think about this...
So it wasn't in there in day one. Like, it wasn't a Hemi.
No. It was a 383 car.
That's pretty cool. It's been in every episode.
Well, I don't know if it's every TV episode, but it's been in every Dukes of Hazzard production there's ever been, like real ones. And somebody asked me if I would get rid of my General Lee for a real screen one used. I probably would. $225,000 is a little more I can swing right now. But a screen used one, that's cool to me. That really is. I think I need two, though. One to drive and beat up and one to preserve for the
So you like it just because Bo and Luke's butts were in the seat, basically. That's what you want out of that car.
Yeah, who wouldn't want that?
I don't know. I don't really care. I don't know. Like, your car is awesome. And, like, screen used, it's like, I don't know, you could copy everything about it. So at that point, you're talking molecules. Like, they sat in this car or they jumped this car or, you know, that magic is lost on me, sadly, I'll admit.
Well, to each their own.
Yes. So, hey, for you guys out there that are into that sort of thing, good on you, you know, and you other guys, you Mopar freaks that want numbers matching air in the tires. Hey, good for you. Good for you.
I did text another friend that I met last year at the Cooters Land Stand events. Name's Frank. He has another screen used car. His car, just like this one, were both kind of touched up by the same guy who did a preservation restoration. He said, hey, can you tell me what color your car is? And he goes, it's many shades. Which color do you want? I'm like, I think I'll scan them all. So when you walk around the car, it's a few different kinds of orange, which I like stuff like that.
Probably because every time he got smacked into something, it had to get
shared again. I know towards the later years they were using Hugger orange, maybe more predominantly, but they're probably all different shades of orange. That was a little bit of news there. Kibbe. Sure. So I have some General Lee information for you. I've been working on my car. My favorite car show of the year is tomorrow. Good Guys Des Moines car show. There's autocross. It's tons of cars. It's state fair. It's really fun.
How many of your cars are you bringing?
Now 2. Decided to keep the car McGee at home. My dad can't go due to the high heat, and that was the whole reason to take it. So it's going to make my life a lot easier to not take a third car. Friday, my buddy Rodney will bring the General Lee with his family, and then Saturday, my buddy Aaron will bring the General with a couple of his buddies. And I'll take the Chevelle around.
That's great.
Mike, I decided to make the brakes work in the General. Do you know what this thing is? I'm holding in my hands a round plate with 4 holes on either side. Interesting looking.
Looks like it goes between the firewall and the master cylinder.
Yeah, if you have power brakes. But my car did not have power brakes. And this spacer was in there with the first master cylinder that I was trying with. I'm now on 3rd master cylinder in the last week. I have put 4. This shouldn't have been there.
So that was shortening the stroke of the...
Right.
Got it.
Yes. After we went to Atlanta, driving around with no brakes and wandering steering and awfulness like that, I wanted to at least make the car better. And I did not have time to get your K member put in time. So decided to make the brakes work. And it took a freaking week. And I still don't know why they work. There's still air in them. And as of last night, we had changed everything in the system except the distribution block. And we finally got it to work by hitting the distribution block, like with a hammer, like 100 times.
That's a desperation move. I love it.
And then it finally all worked. And it has brakes. And it has lots of brakes. Those QA1 control arms, those are legit. Holy crap. It's so much better. That is exactly what you need to put on your car. The manual steering box that I thought was the cause of all problems, I was wrong. It's fine.
So what in the geometry did it correct? Are they longer? Are they shorter?
They're probably a little bit shorter.
The ball joint?
The ball joint's in a very different location. I took a picture so you can kind of see them side by side.
Did it give it more caster?
Let's see. There's camber, caster, and toe. So it must be caster. It's got more caster in it.
Rotated the control arm kind of backwards a little bit?
Yes. The top of the tire is more... Well, it's in the same location on the car, but...
It's rotated backwards.
Yeah, it feels like it's tipped backwards a little bit.
So that should make it track straight.
It drives great. So what do you have on the front of your car? Are they just normal Mopar control arms?
Yeah, they're hogged out to fit the shock through the middle. Because remember, I have tubular upper shock mounts, basically. Kind of looks like a roll bar going from the firewall down to the frame rail. There's no inner fenders in that car anymore. And so the stock upper arm is hogged out to fit a shock through there, like a big old Gabriel, looks like a monster truck shock kind of thing from the 70s. So I don't know if I can just pop another control arm on there, unless, are these new ones tubular? You think there's more?
They're tubular. I would bet they would fit. Rodney and I were driving up and down the road last night, running from people who were following us to video us so that they would know where he lived. And we were just amazed, this car drives great. What? Was that it? Was it just control arms? Is that all it took? And sure seemed to solve a lot of my problems.
Congratulations.
But I am excited by that. You are so sleepy. It's like talking to a zombie.
I'm better now. I'm good. I'm here.
Would you like to do some emails, Mike? Again, we're on a catch-up show. So let me get in here to the list of questions. Now, we have a special list that's for the Patreon show. I'm leaving that where it was so we can keep catching up on that. This is the stockpile that I've had here. So let's see. This is from Skylar Bowen. He says, have you seen the General P? It is a truck that you would use to pump out septic tanks. And on the number, it's orange. On the driver's side, it's 02. And on the tank, it says the Dookie Boys.
I have seen it. I don't know who sent it to me, but I have seen it.
For whatever reason, here in the office, we get a trade magazine called Pumper. And it is intended for those in the septic industry. And that was a truck of the month in Pumper magazine. Thought that was pretty funny. Let's see here. 2-Star Sport. This is from Matt Smith. And Matt says, Rob and Mike, I discovered this show on iTunes after listening to the Chief and Sean show. I've only been listening to your show, and I'm already caught up to episode 50, having started in the beginning. Don't change a thing. You guys are great together. There's all sorts of nice things in here. And he is happy that I am excited about your victories, which is nice. And one of them was your zip tie endorsement. So, Mike, we would like an update on the world of being a zip tie product.
Oh, that's funny. I had no idea you were going to do this update. Well, it's fun, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the first product I've ever said, yes, this thing's awesome. Let's put my face on it. And that wasn't my idea. That was somebody else's idea. But the folks at wirecare.com sell a whole bunch of different kinds of zip ties. Like, I didn't even know some of these existed. There's a zip tie they have that has a metal blade inside of it. You pull the zip tie tight, twist it, and it cuts itself flush. You don't even need pliers. It's awesome. So they made a kit that's got those and a whole bunch of other styles, shapes, and sizes of zip ties in them, and they put my face on them, and they sell them on their website. You can go there, and you can buy them, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Like, every now and again when I go, work on something in the garage, I'll use my zip ties. And then I thank myself. I go, hey, Mike, thanks for that.
Mike, good call on that one.
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks, Mike.
Hey.
Appreciate that. I think it's pretty neat. I am happy for you.
That's the one and only thing.
You can always send your friends some complimentary samples. Just throwing that.
You know what I do to those people is I make them come visit. When they visit, then they get the samples.
I visit all the time.
That's how I lure people into Georgia.
Here's the remainder of the email. He says, I have a great roadkill idea for Mike. It's called the 2-Star Sport. What you would do is you fly to the starting city at Drag Week, and you buy and you fix a car. You survive the whole week, and you might even be fast. Then immediately you leave after your pass on Friday, drive to Nevada, and run the Silver State Classic in the same car starting Sunday. Since Freiburger works DW, I'm not sure what that means. You'd have to get Tony Angelo. Drag Week. Okay, so, since Freiburger works Drag Week, you'd have to get Tony Angelo to help you. I think Tony's cool. Anyway, just an idea ahead. It's been a bucket list idea of mine. I'll probably never get around to it. Thanks for reading, Rob. Matt Smith.
That's a great idea.
I think that's awesome. So the very same car to Drag Week and then to the Silver State Classic.
I wonder if he's ever done Drag Week, because that is not easy. Finishing Drag Week first is unbelievably difficult, and very few people can say they've done it. And I have not been able to do that yet. So finishing Drag Week and then bonsaiing all the way to Nevada, especially from this year it's from the East Coast, is crazy. And then participating in the Silver State, which is a high-speed road race that, let's be honest, is dangerous.
Very.
That is an undertaking. And I would love to try that on roadkill. Not this year, though, because I'm taking my 55 back to Drag Week because I want to try to finish.
Have you done any of the high-speed timing type events before?
Open road stuff like Silver State?
Nope. Yeah. There's one in Nebraska called I think it's called the Sandhill Challenge. There are several. I've wanted to do so many. I mean, that's where Big Red Camaro got his claim to fame, was running the Nevada Silver State. And that's where that car wrecked first, too.
Yeah.
That's my kind of stuff. I like the open road race. I like the timing component of it. And the Silver State, as I recall, like you're trying to get from A to B, but A to B is not a straight line.
No, it's crazy.
It's the best time wins in whatever class you're in. And sometimes they have speed limits in certain spots. Like you can't bonsai past 150 in the straights. You have to keep it under 130. but you've got to get through all the corners, and all the corners really have to be taken at like 35 miles an hour or something like. I mean, it's very
that's
difficult.
what they're supposed to be taken at, but these people are not doing 35 miles an hour. That's the crazy part, is they're hauling ass, and it's in the desert. You know, you go off, I think you'll be okay for the most part, but I don't know, soft sand going off, car turning sideways, it could end badly. It could.
Totally. Okay, next one. This is from Louis Cadinas. He says, "Hello, Kibbe and Finnegan. I'm writing to you because I want to say how much I'm enjoying listening to this podcast and the Muscle Car podcast. I normally don't reach out to anyone. However, since you guys are not reviewing some awesome films, I feel I needed to. Maybe you can think about reviewing the film Death Proof. This is one of my favorite films with muscle cars in it, with awesome stunts, and of course 2 muscle cars with an awesome spoiler at the end, and Kurt Russell's in it too."
I'm a Kurt Russell fan. I've never seen that movie.
I've never either. I've watched some of the chase scenes on YouTube. It's an interesting choice of cars that they use in the final scene. It's a white 70 Challenger versus a primered up black 69 Charger with vectors on it.
That is an interesting concept.
So it's kind of like Vanishing Point versus a primered up General Lee. And then what's the movie where Nicolas Cage like comes out of hell to fight something and then goes back in?
Is he on a motorcycle?
No. Similar in concept. He drives a black primered up 69 Charger with vectors on it.
That I haven't seen.
All similar concept. Yeah, I would do Death Proof. I don't dig gore movies because there's some scenes in there where like wheels spinning, jump over cars, and like rip somebody's face off. And you watch that part. I'm more into funny. I like funny movies, and I like stunts and stuff like that.
I like funny.
Have you seen any funny movies lately?
The last great movie I saw was probably one of the funniest I've ever seen, and it was Deadpool 2 with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah?
And, oh, my goodness. I laughed my ass off. And I didn't think they'd be able to top the first one, but they totally did. It's awesome.
I don't know the concept of Deadpool. Is he dead?
So he's he used to be like, is he a hitman, basically? Who gets really, really disfigured. And he has the power to regenerate body parts, but he's basically an asshole with a heart of gold. So he doesn't fit in with like the X-Men or a team or any of that stuff. And so he's just a wisecracking asshole, essentially. It's funny. It's really funny.
I would check that out. Have you seen Solo, though?
No, I still haven't had a chance to go to the movies.
Jeez, that's a good one. I've been meaning to get back again before it leaves the theater.
I'll go watch it. You go watch it. Let's review Solo, like the next movie we do.
Yeah, I'd be all
I know it's not a car movie, but it's a popular movie. That will make me have to go do it.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Let's see here. This is from, yet again, Chris King. Love the show. When will you guys talk about that Hoonigan call out of blasphemy? How many of these
didn't we?
We did.
Was that on the Patreon only?
I don't recall. You're going to race the guy, though, right?
Yeah, I have no idea when it's going to happen, but I think it'll happen this year. Should be a good race because I think he's got a pretty light LS motor with nitrous or a blower on it. I thought it was going to have nitrous. Thought I read that somewhere, but then it looked like he had some sort of front mount intercooler on the car. He's got a weird setup. Like he's got a gasser, but it's going very modern with the drivetrain. So it should be reliable. He'll have a leg up in that department.
Mm-hmm. That kind of concludes some of the back emails that I wanted to be able to get to this time. The rest I kind of got to go through and sort what's what. So why don't you give me a roadkill update, and then I have a fun game for you to end on.
Roadkill update. Let's see here. God, we're about to go to Alaska, which is going to be fun. But we're not driving there. We're flying into Anchorage, and then we're road tripping to a small town that I don't know the name of, but this small town celebrates our country's Independence Day by throwing cars off a cliff. If you can believe that. And so we're going to show up, and we are going to, at the conclusion of that festivity, throwing a car off a cliff, try to get one of those cars running, either by cutting up multiple ones or whatever, by any means necessary. We're going to try to get one of those cars running and drive out of their town. So, we're kind of recycling that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I think we're staying in motorhomes instead of hotels. Like, it's pretty far out there from what I understand. So, should be fun.
When does the Death Metal Charger episode come out?
I just finished doing the voiceover stuff for it this morning, so I think it'll be pretty soon. But as most of you out there already know, it's going to be on motortrend.com. So you'll need to go there and sign up in order to watch that thing. But It's good. It's really good. I like the episode a lot.
Does it come out free like a month later on Motorhead?
I'm not sure how anything works anymore. I think if you go there, you can watch episodes for free. Like the current one, I think you can watch for free on the main page with commercials. And if you want to opt out of the commercials, or I think if you want to watch episodes over and over again or go watch any of the back catalog, you've got to sign up. But it's really inexpensive to do it. And the amount of content they've stuck there is pretty staggering. Like if you're into cars and car shows of any kind, go check out motortrend.com because there is a ton of car show content there.
I did like 2 or 3 months ago. They had like this super deal. So I just bought a 1 year. It was like $30. I mean, it was some ridiculous, stupid, silly, easy number. So
right.
Take that. No problem.
Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.
I'm here to give. What do you have planned next for the Death Metal Charger? And I know that this is potentially a ways out, depending on everything you got going on in your life, but
nothing. I'm going to drive that car. My plans are to make another set of headlight mounts because I think it looks weird with only 2 headlights. I'm going to change the rear axle at some point, keep the 8-lug wheels for sure. Might even just keep the drum brakes all the way around. Not sure about that, but I'm just going to drive that car. But none of that stuff's going to happen anytime soon because what I'm realizing that's happening in my life these days is everything I'm doing car-wise is tied around an event. Like,
yes.
We were going to Power Tour, and the 55 needed to go to the Power Tour, but the 55 didn't run because it needed wiring. So I had to stop everything I was doing on other things to rewire the 55. And then I've got a race coming up with that car, same deal. I had to drop everything I'm doing and just work on that car. And then Drag Week's coming. So pretty much the 55, last year it dominated my life because I blew up the engine twice. This year it's dominating my life because of all the events that it's got to go to. And so it stopped me from doing the things that I really want to do car-wise, which are get the ramp truck finished and running and then get the turbo boat done and drive that and go race that. So I'm hoping that 3 weeks from now, the 55 is done, finished. I can put it in the corner of the garage and not think about it and get back to work on the ramp truck. That's my plan.
Speaking of rear axle, Dan Atkinson did write, he is the guy we talked about in the Patreon show. He has a rear axle for you. And your question was, is it single wheel? And it is. And how wide is it? He says it's 65.5 inches wide. I don't know if that's outside to outside or just flange to flange or whatever, but
yeah, can you ask him where that is, and then I'll measure the charger and find out if we're even in the ballpark. Because if it's wider by a couple inches, that actually would be great because the track width is narrower on the back.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, just knowing the numbers on my car, this is
drum to drum.
This is definitely wider than a factory B body setup would be, no matter what. So I think you might be good here.
Awesome.
That'd be pretty good. I'll message him back. We'll figure out where this thing is, but that might be the best candidate for you.
Oh, dude, I wanted to talk to you about something.
Yep.
Did you ever watch the movie Rad when you were a kid?
Yes.
Dude, somebody in Texas recreated Hell Track. And last weekend, the whole world was there and got to ride Hell Track and race it.
Like BMX bikes?
The Wall of Death drop in, the cereal bowl, the step up, the whole thing. It's there in Texas.
Really?
I'm trying to look right now.
This is a Hal Needham production, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the man behind Smokey and the Bandit is the man behind Rad.
So this place, if you're on Instagram, go to Texplex, and this place is called Texplex Park. It's in Midlothian, Texas. Dude, they have Hell Track there. I don't know how long it's going to be there. Hopefully permanently. I mean, it's a lot of work, but they built it. Bill Allen, who played Crew Jones in the movie, was there. Bart Connor was there, who played one of the evil mongoose guys. Like, some of the stunt guys were there, like Martin Aparicio, Eddie Fiola. Like, those are the stunt guys that did a lot of the the tricks you see on camera. Dude, it was there. I was so bummed. I found out about it. I was like, oh my God, I would go there. I would totally go there.
Do you have a BMX bike?
Oh, yeah. I still have 20-inch stuff sitting in my garage. My kids ride them.
I have a Schwinn Phantom from 1982. My dad kept everything. So ipso facto, so did I. For my son, I took it out. I popped the old tubes and tires off, put on new stuff, fixed a couple things. It's his bike now.
That's cool.
He rides with the bars forward, too. I'm sure it's bad on his back, and I'll have it out there running up.
That's cool.
There's a similar movie to Rad in my mind. It's with dudes that ride rollerblades. Airborne.
Yeah, I saw it. I remember. It was in the 90s. It's kind of cheesy.
Yeah, but it's good.
Entertaining.
Were you a rollerblader?
Nah, I skated. We threw things at rollerbladers. Sad to say. Yeah, rollerblading was never cool, at least not amongst my friends.
If skateboarding is like mini trucking, then what's rollerblading to cars?
Well, sadly, I think the rollerblading would be the mini trucking.
Oh.
And the skateboarding would be probably the hot rodding, which I'm not ashamed of mini trucking at all. Like I said, we've talked about this before. Without mini trucking, you don't have a lot of the cool stuff you have in the world right now, like air suspensions. You ain't got that without mini trucks.
Well,
which makes us cool.
Like semis and stuff?
That's where it would be. It took mini truckers to go, hey, semi guys, let me borrow those massive airbags and maybe even the little ones under the cab of your truck, and I'm going to figure out a way to fit them in my truck to lift it up and down. Mini truckers did that, not hot rodders, not pro touring, none of that.
All true. Speaking of air suspension, there's a guy I know here in town. I want to rent this RV he's got. It is a 1985, 40-foot long Wander Lodge, like the RV of its day. It's like a rolling no slide outs, nothing. It's on a Bluebird bus chassis with air suspension. It's way nicer than the stuff I used to ride around on the drum corps. But I remember in drum corps, like they'd fire up the bus and like, brrr, and then 5 minutes later, it would finally pick itself up and be at ride height. They ride spectacular. But he has this 1985 Wander Lodge. And when you get inside there, it looks like the Millennium Falcon cockpit. Like the whole front of it, it's nothing but dials and gauges that go to certain things that are undefined. The CB system is part of the internal PA. Next to the driver's seat on the floor is a phone that looks like the phone in the White House. There are 6 buttons on the phone. If you push one of the buttons on the phone, you call a different part of the RV.
I love it, dude.
It's so cool. It has boat lights on the side. It has boat lights on the top, so that when you're driving down the road, if you're like going through Colorado or something at night, you turn on the lights and you aim them out in the world so that you can see deer and mongoose and all sorts of stuff like that. It has perps. It has like the freight horn in it. I want to rent this thing so bad to go to an air show because
you need this in your life.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Go rent this, give us a book report on it, and I don't know, make it an expense to the show or something.
It's just his, like new. Like he said, new, this thing was like $300,000. Like today, it'd be like $1 million.
Wow.
And it's just an old RV at this point. Like when you walk inside, it smells weird a little bit. And that's the weird smell is the plastic in it slowly decaying.
That's the thing about RVs is it doesn't matter what they cost when they were new. 20 years later, especially if they're stored outside, they're junk. They're all junk.
Yeah, this one has lived a fortunate life. It still lives inside.
I remember my parents' RV, when they gave it to me, it only had 38,000 miles on it, but it had been stored outside for 30 years. It was crap. It literally, the walls split in half. It fell apart while I was driving it once. So, yeah, that thing, definitely not $300,000 unless it's collectible. Some of those RVs out there are collectible, like the old GMC ones that look like spaceships.
The front-wheel drive ones?
Yeah, the front-wheel drive ones with the old Tornado stuff up front with the 455. Those are actually worth money. Like a used, worn-out one, good luck finding one for less than 10 grand. You know, it's not going to happen. And there's some other ones that are worth even more than that.
This one is a 2-stroke diesel, turbo, and supercharged.
Wow.
It is a very interesting setup. It has like a 1 billion kilowatt Onan generator in it, 300-gallon fuel tank. And the reason I want to get this is because my dad would have a place to be. Like it'll be cold. He has like facilities all available to him. We all do. I usually take a couple kids along with this as well. We could get from here to Oshkosh, Wisconsin and back and never stop once.
You went from facilities to taking kids along, and I fully heard I like to drop some kids off at the pool. That's what I heard. Sorry.
Well, this is a good time to end with my little game. This is called Guess the Austin Powers Movie. Mike, I'm going to play for you a clip, and you have to identify both the character and which movie this was from. Okay?
Oh, crap. Was there more than 2?
I don't know. Yes, there was more than 2. Okay, are you ready?
All right.
Let me turn this up here. Okay, here's the first one.
Only 2 things scare me, and one is nuclear war.
What's the other?
Excuse me?
What's the other thing that scares you?
Carnies.
What?
Circus folk. Nomads, you know. Smell like cabbage. Small hands.
Okay. Do you need a repeat, or do you think you got it?
Well, that was Austin Powers. God, I don't know which one it was from. I think it was the first one.
You win. It was absolutely from the first one. There are 3.
There's 3. Damn.
There
So
are
the
3.
third one was in space, right?
Yeah, that's the one with Goldmember. Beyonce's in that one.
So The Spy Who Shagged Me, was that the first one or the second
That's
one?
the second one.
The second one. Oh, International Man of Mystery was the first one.
Yes. Okay. Well, here's the next one. This one's very short.
Don't worry, Mama. Things won't get weird.
I like that one. We'll play it again.
That was the second.
Don't worry, Mama. Things won't get weird.
You're right.
Was that Goldmember?
No.
That was Austin?
No.
Oh, no, that was Dr. Evil. Sorry.
Yep.
It's the same dude playing all these damn characters.
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute, it sounds like Mike Myers. Okay, yeah, that was Dr. Evil.
He's talking to, is it Frau Farbissina or something like that?
Yeah, they figure out they're in love, I think, or something. So his son, Scott, is played by...
I know who you're talking about.
I follow him on Instagram. He's hilarious.
Yes.
I don't know. Whatever. Go ahead.
What about it?
I don't even remember what I was going to say because now I forgot the guy's name. He's in all those movies. Red-haired guy in all those movies.
Well, because we have the ability to edit this, I'm just going to stop and look it up here real quick. Seth Green.
Seth Green, not Sean.
Okay. So you're doing well here. Here's the last one. Maybe the most difficult one. It's a hard reference.
The age of 14 as a roastery named Vilma ritualistically shaved my testicles. There really is nothing like a shorn scrotum. It's breathtaking. I suggest you try it.
No, the first one was the first movie. Second was the second movie.
Yeah, that was Dr. Evil in the third one.
Oh, that was Dr. Evil in the first one.
Was it the first one? Oh, wow.
I don't know. I just wanted the shorn scrotum. Do you know who the therapist is that's in the room, though? She was also a nun once in Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, was Carrie Fisher?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. I can remember that she was the nun, or not the nun, the therapist in Austin Powers. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I like all the Austin Powers movie. I also like this line.
Why make trillions when we could make billions?
That's how we're doing right now.
Exactly. That thing earlier I said about, hey, go rent an RV and expensive to the show, don't do that. We're already in the negative here.
Yep, don't worry. I've got that covered.
And on that note,
let's go ahead and wrap out. I think next show back. Are you serious? We can do solo?
Yeah, let's do solo. I'll find a way to go see it while I'm home for 3 days here.
Okay, I would love to do that. I think that would be freaking awesome. So,
all right, let's do solo.
Everybody, thanks for listening. You can find the show in all the normal places. You can support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/KF show. You can buy a shirt. I have had a request for the one that's wholesome, the other is a mini trucker shirt to return. So, sure, we'll turn that one back on. I don't know that it was a huge seller before, but sure.
You're about to make 3 people happy.
3 people can have it. KFshowshirts.com is where you go to get that. What year did you start at Hot Rod riding?
I did mini trucking from 2000 to 2002, off-road magazine 2003, hot boat after that, sport truck from 05 to 08, I think, and hot rod 2009.
I always wanted to know, in 2004 or 5, I think I still have the issue. It was when the Dukes of Hazzard movie came out, and Hot Rod went and did a feature, and the title of the magazine was General Lee Flies Again. And it was the nose of the car coming up over some dirt. And it was just the coolest picture. And there was a full, really well written behind the scenes article. And it was about the only thing you could glean, you know, other than like message boards or something like that back then. And I didn't know who got the credit for it. Were you one of the guys who named the General Lee like the most famous car ever?
No.
Hot Rod did a full countdown of all the most famous cars, and General Lee was number 1.
That was before my time. It was not me.
I'm still going to give you credit for it.
Thanks.
I think you're worth it. All right. Everybody, thank you for listening. Mike, catch you later.
See ya.